Hello everyone, this is a psychic reading on Ismael Perez. So, Ismael Perez, for you who do not know who he is a figure that can be found on social media such as YouTube, talking about aliens, draconian reptilians, things of that nature, secret space program, also known as SSP, things of that nature. And he has basically the only reason why I knew about him was because I heard about him saying some things negative about Elana Danaan in the past, who is someone who also talks about similar things. And I had previously done a reading on that situation and determined that he was lashing out at her for kind of competitive, egotistical reasons that were not too authentic. So I wanted to do a full reading on this person, and so I did a reading on him. I already knew who he was, but just for you know, just to double check things, I like to have other people do readings on people that they don't know. So I asked a friend of mine, a psychic friend who would like to be anonymous, to do a reading on this person, and all I did was say the name Ismael Perez. And these are the things that came up for this person. And after I do this, then I will get into what I was getting and my final conclusion for whether or not he is being told what to say or if he's working by himself, if he's truthful or a fraud. Okay, so the other psychic was saying that the first thing that came up was that he wants to fit in. Um, that also he won't really do something that's bold unless it's backed up by other people and considered socially acceptable to some degree. That just is kind of like his borderline personality behind his actions. They're also seeing him running from something, being very quick paced in his work. There was a sense of working for a TV company, like being someone who's on the news or whatever. So it's kind of similar to what he's doing. Um, I think there may be more truth to that than we understand at the moment, but as we go on, that may make more sense. A TV company replaced TV with YouTube. Social influence through media or politics. So there seems to be some sort of social influence through the media or the politics, and they're getting that this could be related to family planning of some sort. So I don't know, maybe that makes sense to someone out there. If it makes sense to you, I'd love to know what that means. Otherwise, I don't know what that's about. So this other anonymous psychic went on to say Ismael Perez has guidance from women about what to carry out with what he does. They're also seeing lots of paperwork involved. And they were getting the phrase told to them by a different spirit, he's still part of the problem, was the phrase. Because he is about what is acceptable to the mainstream. Similar to the idea behind the food pyramid being good, in the sense that if you just follow the food pyramid, it's not necessarily going to give you good health, but it's kind of generalized, mainstream truth, but not like really the full truth, if that makes any sense. So I did. This person again did not know who he was at all, and when asked to compare this person with Elana Danaan, what came up was, from Elana Danaan's perspective, tuning into her spirit, was sad was the first word that came up. Corruption came up, and only seeing one mainstream angle, missing the bigger picture. I asked the same to be done with Michael Salla, and what came through was not the solution. This is coming from their perspective on the situation. And further insight was that this Ismael Perez was cutting corners, being deceptive, but he was open about himself in some way at the same time, which kind of hard to understand what that means, but maybe that makes sense to someone else out there. I don't know too much about him. Um, they also got the sense that he does not work by himself. And when I asked, okay, so who who pays him? The word extopo came up, and this anonymous psychic was saying that that word reminded them of the word Gestapo, which is the secret police of Nazi Germany. So I don't really know. Again, this person didn't know who he was or anything about Ismael Perez, so that's interesting. Regardless of what Extopo means, I'm not sure. So moving on to my reading and what I was seeing. Again, I already did this reading and I wrote it down so that I can go over it and make a video. So here I am doing that. So what I saw, first thing that came to me was I saw a star. And things usually are more symbolic. They can be literal, but usually more symbolic. So I saw a star, and someone being in the spotlight. This person has experience being in the spotlight, lots of experience. He's able to perform very well and even amuse people if desired, like a comedian. I see a pen with a hidden blade inside of it. This seems like there is a sneak attack involved. This is to target specific individuals, especially female. Planets and solar system is what's being explained in detail to make sense of something. This seems scientific but also theoretical. He seems to have done a lot of research but also had some help with his theories. I again see a stage as if this has been scripted to a certain degree. He does seem to believe some of the connections he is making, but he also is being fed lines to say. There is an interesting collaboration between those writing his script and his ability to add to it and to adjust it. He has a big influence on the script and the direction that it is all heading. It is not set in stone, and a lot of it is open for him to do whatever he wants with. It seems there is info about the planets and the way the universe is set up that he relies on as something to base all his claims around. And I don't necessarily get that that is true, what he's saying. It's just a concept that he has in his mind. This seems like it is fabricated but built on truths, built on some truths. He doesn't even know the real situation and uses science to add to his theory. He likes to add scientific truths to his presentation and actually finds that interesting to explore and learn more from. He doesn't know if what he is saying is true or partially true or anything else. On some level, he is learning and exploring these possibilities himself through this process. He feels that some of it is true and that some of it is probably way off in regards to the bigger picture of what is going on. He is told to stick with his narrative and destroy anyone who contradicts it. This has been rehearsed, but also he has trained to learn a lot of information through this rehearsal. So in that sense, by going through the rehearsal, he is trial and error, seeing what comes up, and learning information as things to say to kind of back up his narrative. This feels governmental, but it might not be the literal government that we think of. Could be some branch, offshoot of a governmental force of some kind. They have gone over many, many situations and questions that may come up within within his work. He has been working with these people for a very long time. It seems the last 10 years or so he has been working on this project to work through social media. He is mostly left on his own now to perform on his own. This is to distract from the messages encouraging people to reach out to positive ETs, although not all ETs are positive. We should keep that in mind. He feels that he is doing good by infiltrating a group and taking down the leaders in order to improve society from becoming radicalized. So he feels it is best to keep those radicalized within the grip of control. I also get that there is info that, in quote, they don't need to know, and it can, and that information could be misused if people were to know it. So that's kind of his justification. His goal is to lead people down a path that leads nowhere rather than have radicalized movements in his mind. And some more information that came through. He seems militant. He has connections to intelligence, but he doesn't actually know much about the real situation going on and the subjects that he talks about. I see his future being that of attacking statements and individuals that he has been assigned to discredit. He may lose popularity, but have a cult following that stays with him for the next 8 years or so, till around 2031. And that's an interesting year. That always shows up for me. 2031, I feel like there's a lot going on in that year, especially with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and things of that nature. So, this normally is something that I would not post publicly, and I would normally put it with all of my, other people I feel that are frauds on my Patreon page, because I usually don't put that out there to be public. But this one just feels like it needs to be out there. It just feels like this needs to be done. And since I did this reading, I looked him up a little bit more, and I did see something about him making some claims about another person in the field of research related to what he talks about, named Alex Collier, and how he had said something about how he had talked to him and Alex Collier had apologized to him and been like, yeah, actually I get what you're saying and you're right. But then it turned out that on Alex Collier's actual video later on, he called him out for saying that and said that that was absolutely not true and that he is just completely full of it. So that just was very synchronistic, that video popped up right after I did this reading to just kind of confirm this information even more. So because of that as well, I feel that this is just deserving to be public, so I'm going to put this out to the public. However, I do have tons more claimed SSP members. Some of them I sense are telling the truth, some of them are not, and that information will be on my Patreon page, only $5 a month to join. I will leave the link below this video, and I also do private readings. If you would like a private reading, the link will also be below this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you watch it all the way to the end. I always appreciate that. Subscribe for monthly psychic predictions, etc., etc. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.